Yeah. Hey, yo, Black, it's time. Word, it's timing.
I'm very good under pressure. Like, you put that clock on where it's like 3 seconds, I'm beating you every time.
Motherfuckers can't rhyme no more, about crime no more, to I'm no more, cause I'm so raw, my flow is exposed.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
It's the 10 crack commandments. Why?
When did you first recognize the genius within yourself?
I'm a very humble, shy dude. I mean, I've elevated to being a loudmouth now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, only when I'm around all my friends I grew up with, it's a different story. But as far as the level of knowing that I really got this covered and I can handle it, it doesn't matter what artists you bring to me, I can do it and produce them and really make good records. I'd say like 1992 when we did Daily Operation with me and Guru. Rest in peace.
Yeah, give it up. Rest in peace to Guru, please. His spirit lives on, man. It's in this room. It's amongst all of us. I'm gonna ask you some tough questions. I know you're a humble cat, so part of this is fun to me because I want to put you on the spot.
I can handle it.
A debate that often comes up is the greatest DJ Premier beat. What do you think is your best track?
Man, I mean, it's the most asked question. I can't just name one. I have several. I mean, Mass Appeal is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Mathematics with Most Def. Come Clean with Jeru. You know, because a lot of these records, they're memories that went along with them. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't have one number one beat. Right. And I don't like listening to my own music. I like listening to other people's stuff to motivate me to want to make beats. So that's really how it is. I don't drive around listening to my own stuff. You know, when it's new, like if I just got out of the lab and just did a brand new joint, I'll bang it for like a month or two just to have it memorized and stuff like that. But after that, I never listen to my own stuff.
That's great. Well, we listened to enough of it for you, man.
There you go.
If I may, and I understand, like, picking a favorite track for you might, like, you're not supposed to pick which one is your favorite child.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Love them all.
But if I may,
yes,
and the ones you mentioned, Mass Appeal, Come Clean, amazing. One that sticks out to me is Nas, New York State of Mind.
I don't know how to start this. Rappers are monkey flipping with the funky rhythm. I be kicking, musician, inflicting composition.
It still sound good, man. What 23 years later, it still sound.
Shout to Nas.
Now, what was that session like? Because at the time, Nas is a teenager.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Illmatic. This is one of the most celebrated, if not the greatest album in hip-hop history. And besides the intro, this is actually the first song, the first track that we hear, and Nas goes on to have this illustrious career. He's GOAT status.
Yeah.
If you listen to the record, Nas starts the record, I don't know how to start this.
Right.
And then goes, he clearly knew how to start it and finish it.
He had just written it. And I remember Showbiz from DITC was there, and we were just like, man, I can't wait to hear what he does to this beat, because it was my second time. Represent was the first record I did, but New York State of Mind, I was just really, we found that sample together. Nas was just like, let's just thumb through records, and if we feel a vibe, most artists I work with, they'll just let me do my thing. He was like, can we just play records and just find stuff? He said that's how Large used to do it. I was like, cool. So when we heard that piano sample, we both looked up at the same time when we heard that melody, and he was like, can you hook that up? I was like, done. Hooked it up. And then when he goes in the booth, he goes in there with he brought like 20 people with him, and they're all in the booth with him. And I'm like, yo, y'all gotta be quiet. You can't be talking. And then they're going, yo, Thun, pass that, Thun. Yo, pass the Henny, Thun. And I'm like, yo, y'all gotta be quiet. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's going on. Yo, pass that weed. So all
sound
that.
Like Jungle. That sound like a Jungle.
Oh,
impression.
Jungle was definitely there. Jungle was definitely, shout to Jung, man. So all of that's going on in the booth, and I constantly saying, just be quiet. So Grand Wiz, who's from the Bravehearts, he said, yo, I want you to talk with me at the beginning before the piano comes in, and so they're standing there kind of just freestyling it. So when he said, he looks down at the paper and says, I don't know how to start this, I'm like, it's coming. So I'm like counting them like this, and he just happens to look up and goes, yo. And then just starts kicking the verse. So, and did it in one take. And we would just like, and then I remember when he did the whole take, he goes, well, how was that? Was that cool? You know, all shy and everything. Was that cool? We were like, dude, New York's about to go crazy. And that was it's still to this day one of the biggest records of both of our careers.
Well, I'm being a little selfish. I got my Nas question in. I'd be remiss if we didn't start from the beginning with you. A little group, a little legendary group, iconic hip-hop duo by the name of Gang Starr.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Give it up. Oh, y'all can clap, like, please.
Guru.
I bring back any memories?
Oh yeah.
Guru used to wear that kufi everywhere we went.
I got the hat because
Big Daddy Kane wore it in the Vapors video, so I was like, I want the one Big Daddy Kane got, you know. So and I was living in East New York, Brooklyn at the time, so you could find any hat there.
It was the thing to do. It was
no question. Yeah.
You know, one of the things, a popular just phrase I think that we live by in hip hop. It ain't where you from, it's where you're at. But I always thought it was interesting. You built this sound, this iconic hip hop sound, that became synonymous and a pillar for New York City. Right. Technically, you weren't born in New York. I know you had ties to Brooklyn and moved back and forth, but you're actually from Texas. So this thing that everybody, when they talk about, first of all, when they talk about the New York sound, they're really talking about DJ Premier. Like, if we being real, you know what I'm saying? The sound that you created. Does it ever dawn on you that you become the architect of this? But like, it came from Texas. The inspiration come from anywhere.
Yeah, but
it's part of it's because of the era, and I'm 51 years old, so I'm from an era of where you only had New York as the guide to teach everybody, no matter what city and state you were from. You only had New York as the blueprint of how to do it, because they were so ahead of us. The thing that helped me get into it so quickly is because I come from a family of music being around the house, and I have older sisters. So I have a sister that's 2 years older than me, and then another one that's 5 years older. So in those gaps, we were listening to the same stuff and different stuff, so all of that helped. And then my mom is an art teacher, so she really had the dope record collection, and I stole a lot of them to bring them up here to get started. But she was like, yeah, you're gonna have to write me some checks, and I want a mink coat. And I was like, I'm gonna get you the coat when I get my first production. And I got her the coat though, so she's
dope.
good.
Mom's got the mink.
Oh yeah,
Mom's give it up for Mom's with the mink.
Yeah, it gets cold in Texas too.
But my mom is really the one that would take me record shopping, and she'd be like, you get to get 3 soul records. She used to always say soul records, because back in the 70s, it didn't say R&B in the record store. It said soul. So when it changed to just R&B, I was like, well, why don't they have soul anymore? Who stole the soul? So that's the type of music I come up from, and that the parties I used to go to, same thing. We didn't have no rap at all. There's no rapping, no scratching. It was all about Barry White, Al Green, Isaac Hayes, Curtis Mayfield, Aretha Franklin, Natalie Cole, Minnie Riperton, the Gladys Knight and the Pips, anything Motown, from the Temptations to Stevie Wonder. That's all we had. So when it started to develop into the whole breakbeat thing and all that stuff, I was like, oh, I know, I got that record, I got that record, I got that record, I got that record, I got that record.
Very dope.
All that trickles down into what made me what I am before my trek to New York.
Right. Well, let's talk about your trek to New York a little bit, and really the formation of Gang Starr.
Right.
Because Gang Starr, and I don't know if everybody knows this. I know the heads know it. There's a couple of heads in here. Gang Starr existed with Guru and a couple of other members before Premier became a part of it. So how did you become a part of it?
It's three generations of Gang Starr. The first Gang Starr official creation was with Big Suge and Guru. They were in Morehouse at the time, and that's where they formed it in Atlanta. So Suge's brother Suave D was also part of the group. So they formed it, but technically it was just Suge and Guru. Shout to Suge, he's still part of our fam. And then from there, Suge had to do some time, and while he was down, Guru added another MC named Damo D-Ski, but Guru would write the rhymes. Damo would just recite them, but he had a dope voice. He was good on stage, but Guru wrote all his verses. And then the DJ name was Mike D, but his we all had our little names, but he was DJ Want to Be Down. But it was the number 1, the number 2, the letter B, and then down. So 1, 2, B, down. But that was a dope way of spelling it, though. So that's the second generation. When I came in, I was in a group called MCs in Control. We met in college. My MC name was Top Ski. He's from Boston. He was the one like, man, we need to take this further and make a record. I really wasn't in the stage to want to make records then. I just wanted to just DJ and rock the parties. That's all I wanted to do, is just tear the parties up, because all the fraternities were always hiring me because I always had all the hot records. So anything that was hot in New York, I would get them sent to me, and then I would play them there. And then I was able to land a job at a store called Soundwaves Records and Tapes. Back then it said Records and Tapes. Right. Before CDs. And
what are CDs?
Yeah, the CDs weren't even in existence at the time. So during that period, the guy that hired me, his name is Carlos Garza. He's the one that recommended me to work there because I had so much knowledge of music. He's the one that actually mentioned to Stu Fine in New York about me, which is how I got my demo to Guru to hear my demo. They liked the way I scratched and everything, but they didn't like my artist. My MC. And then when they heard my demo and wanted me to join Gang Starr, I turned it down because I still wanted my group to get put on. And Stu was like, well, we'll put you in the studio and see if you can make better demos. And if they're not that good, we're not going to sign you. He still didn't like the demos. We cut 3 new records. So from there, my MC Top joined the military. He's like, man, I'm going away for 4 years. If he did 1 year, I was gonna wait.
Right.
But 4 years, I was like, I'm gone. He said, nah, do your thing. I hope you work it out. I hope you get a career. And I called them back and then told them that I'm available. So that's when Guru was like, yo, be my DJ. And I was like, I'm in. And then from there, Guru also heard Lord Finesse's demo, and that's how he got signed to Wild Pitch as well. Oh, wow. And that's how I ended up producing Lord Finesse. He's the first artist I produced because it was a husband and wife label. Right. So Guru would always get every demo that came and listen to it like, man, I'm gonna listen to everything on here.
Guru was like an
A&R, yeah.
Wow.
He's like an A&R. Guru always had a good ear for music. I mean, he's the one that even taught me how to listen to people's patterns. He used to be like, man, yeah, the rhyme is dope, but listen how they're flowing. That's what he used to always say that, yo, check out his flow. So that's why he has so many different ways that he flows his verses. If you listen to stuff, if you take the music out, he has a whole bunch of lanes that he switches into when he's driving.
That's dope. So. First of all, give it up for Top. I hope he's doing good, but he ain't going to the Navy.
Yeah, Top is good.
we might not got Gang Starr.
We still hang out. That's my homie.
Super dope. And then, again, shout out to Guru, rest in peace for Guru for having the foresight to seek you out, man. But, again, when we talk about this iconic sound, I want to hear a little bit of music, man. I want to hear one of y'all classics, just a taste, just to get us in the mode.
This is how the story goes.
The rep grows bigger, now he's known for his trigger finger. Rolling with troops of his sons like a gangster figure.
Word, man. Oh, my God. Again, still, this time there's music, y'all.
Yeah, man. That was a crazy moment, that record right there. That's a true story that happened to Guru. And he said, I want to write a song about it. And what happened was this is the day we both got our brand new cars when we got our major label deal. And we bought our cars. He went riding around. He was in some of the wrong spots at the wrong time. And then he went back to that spot late that night by himself. He was with people at first, so he was good. Then when he came back, he went by himself, and we told him, don't go back over there by yourself. They might still be out there. They were still out there. One of them stuck him for the car and took it. So Guru was actually like the way they say when Tupac got shot in New York, he started rolling a blunt, and he's like, man, this fucked up, and started just, rolling a blunt and stuff. Guru starts rolling a blunt on the corner while we're on our way to go make sure he's good and find out who did it. And he's just sitting there like, yelling at the other guys going, this ain't right,
Then this ain't cool. Things come back to people who do bad things to you. Like he's saying that to them, and they're just like, yeah, whatever. So fast forward to maybe a week or 2 weeks later, we see the guy in the car, and we start chasing after him. Driving after him. Cops come out and start chasing us. We're like, nah, that's our car. They stole it. Because they're trying to pull us over because they're seeing the high-speed car chase. We're rolling. Cops, us, the dude turns the wrong way, hits an ice cream truck, and dies right on the spot.
No.
Yeah, and we did the record the next day, and that's why we did the video like this.
What was it about you and Guru that you think worked? Like, if you could sum up the magic, because I felt like, and I didn't know him. He passed before I really got to know him and interview him, and before I was a journalist. But I sensed that you guys were kind of two different people. Like it was more of a complimentary relationship. Like
total opposites, night and day. But a lot of people think that we just from future stuff that we're in the press and all that, like we just didn't click. But you can't make 7 albums successfully and tour that many years and have houses and cars and all the stuff that comes with the music industry if we can't click. Like we were that much yin and yang, but we were so, and still are, spiritually and everything. We're still very connected to how valuable the music is to us when we made it. Like when we made Mass Appeal, Just to Get a Rep, Step in the Arena, Dwick, we'd be in the studio going, this is gonna pop. We weren't sitting there going, I hope it does well. We knew it, Every record, my Steez, Full Clip, every one. We were that confident because we're that deep rooted into hip hop all the way in. We're all the way in. There's some people that are part of it to, borderline, but we're all the way in. That's why I can do it at 51 with no problem. I just do it the way I like to do it.
Give it up. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, that age, I'm tired of that age thing and all that stuff. The age thing and all that, young, old, man, it's like you either dope or you're not. You know what I'm saying?
There's only one. I say there's only one rule in hip hop: be dope.
Yeah, it's still fun to me to go bang out another joint, so that's why I still do it.
All right, man. But let's take a look at the discography real quick, the Gang Starr discography. And I got a question. This is another one of these tough questions. So you look, that's hard, and that's just the album. We're not even counting. We ain't even that full clip yet because I was like greatest hits. We had a couple new songs on there. But when you look at the Gang Starr discography, man, I know they all your children, but which one you think is the best Gang Starr album?
The most important is Moment of Truth, but Hard to Earn was my favorite, personal favorite. Me and Guru were annoyed that we kept being labeled jazz rap.
Jazz rap, yeah.
And, we weren't, if jazz rap means you're rapping about jazz, that means, the horn plays, the trumpet,
And there was jazz rap, Us Three.
Diggable Planets.
Got put into that category.
And Guru used to always get upset about that. Man, I'm tired of them calling us jazz rap. We ain't jazz rap. So the fact that anything that bothered him bothered me. Then I said, I'm going to strip down everything and not use any jazz samples, no bass lines anymore. I'm doing just straight, raw, stripped down. That's why Hard to Earn is very stripped down.
One thing about Genius and the way the site works is it's community-based. So when you see the lyrics up on the site, these are fans from all over the world putting the lyrics up. When you see the annotations, when you see in the forums, it's a place where people come together and talk about music and discuss music. So, I'm lucky because I get to sit here and talk with you, but we asked the community if they had any questions, and they had some really good ones. So I have Letty Martinez here. She's representing
how are you?
The Genius community, and she has a question on behalf of the community. Give it up for Letty, please.
Thank you. All right. So this is from Lord 3A, and he asked, in 2010, you said you were working on a posthumous Gang Starr album. What's caused the delay?
There's a lot of factors that go with that, and I mean, when it's the right time, it's the right time. I mean, even just with him passing, you got to deal with the estate, you got to deal with the family. There's a whole bunch of things that are involved, but I will say big up to his family, man, because we've been riding together since when he was still on his last days, all the way to now. we're a tight knit family still, you know. So shout to all of them, his sisters, his brother, his mom just passed. You know, rest in peace to her. His father just passed. 4 years prior to that, and you know, it's just little steps that have to be taken, but don't count it out. You know, it just takes a little time to get all that organized. You know.
Dope. So possibility,
yes.
So all right, that's dope. Cool.
But shout to his son, Casey. I sell all official Gangstar merch on my premierwashere.com site. 50% of all the merch goes directly to the family, and so his son is doing well. He just turned 17, and you know, they're financially straight. I make sure everything is done where we can sleep at night. You know.
So give it up for that, please. If you don't give it up for nothing else, give it up for that, man.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Guru, man.
Yep.
Thank you, Letty. And we're gonna keep going back
to
Letty.
It's all good.
You know, during the night, because she has some really dope questions. You know, it's funny you mentioned Hard to Earn. You was in high demand, brother. I feel like any MC who was trying to come up and make a name for himself and was serious about, you know, that top spot, that crown, like you needed a PRhyme joint.
Yeah, that was a good time, man. You know, and they were just coming back to back to back. What really kicked it in, honestly, was when KRS-One called and said, you know, Chris, yo, I want to work on an album. It's gonna be called Return of the Boom Bap.
And think about it. To this day now, everybody like
categorizes that our style of an era as boom bap, and that didn't come from me. I mean, KRS is the one that came up with that name, and I was like, yo, let's do it. And then from there, the calls just kept coming, and it just, you know, went from there. And I had already told Guru before I signed the Gangstar, I told him I want to be a producer with everybody, not just Gangstar. He said, that's fine, just be my DJ, and when we need Gangstar business done, let's do that. And which I still did, which I always did. There's rumors about me, you know, giving Gangstar beats to other artists. I never did that, because anybody that knows me, from a Nas to Jay-Z to Biggie to Rakim, KRS-One, they'll tell you, you sit there and watch me make it right there, and that record that you hear was made right there. You know, Static can also attest to that, and Static's from way generations later, and he's witnessed me make it right there on the spot. So how could I make a Gangstar beat and then go, yo, Guru, you leave, Nas, come over here? You know, like it just never happened that way. Everyone has witnessed, they've all witnessed me make it right there. That's the only way I know how to do it, and that's the way I still do it to this day.
So that's super dope, man.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this record, man. Notorious B.I.G., you and that brother had a tremendous working relationship that y'all put together. And y'all did a record called Kick in the Door.
Yeah.
And yeah, give it up. Come on, it's B.I.G. We in Brooklyn, right? And
baby.
I would love to be a fly on the wall. That session had to be awkward as hell, man.
Yeah, it was a crazy session, man. That was a crazy session
because you know, me and Jeru had worked on a record on his second album, Wrath of the Math, called One Day, and we were talking about. Even though he wrote it, I still backed him on it, and I still stand by that record. Jeru wanted to paint a picture of how he saw hip hop at that particular moment. So I remember even when I spoke to Big about it, he was like, yeah, but he got to be talking about me, because he said he had a Versace suit on. I was like, no. The quote-unquote uniform of that era, when it was starting to shift, was Versace and all the shades and all that, and we weren't with it. Now, if that's what you rock, cool. But we're talking about how we see hip-hop right now from how it used to be when we really enjoyed it. So we're just giving a perspective of how we viewed it. Honestly, you know, I remember Foxy Brown was really mad. We had Roseland one day, and when Jay-Z's hanging out with us, because he was more laughed it off, like, yeah, this is comical, but I get it, you know. So when it got to all the stuff that we mentioned, some of it was, again, it was from a perspective of how we felt like hip hop was being viewed. So of course we started getting calls. I remember Puff calling and said, yo, here's my house phone. He said, tell Jeru, here's all my numbers, my house phone, my cell phone, my car phone. He said, and my boat phone. And we said, he got a boat phone?
He said it in the round.
Yeah, like we were like, Puff is huge.
What Puff said, never home, gotta call me on the yacht. Like,
Yeah,
he wasn't lying.
Puff had the boat, you know. So that and they got into a big argument and everything, and they just never really squashed it to the degree. I mean, we're all past it now.
Right.
Everybody's cool, but at the time, it could have been his friends gassing him to make him think it was directly at him, and it wasn't. We wouldn't do that to Big. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing: is like, so he felt the way.
Yeah. And then
I still need that Primo beat.
Yeah, and he told me, he said, you know, I'm going to have to get at your man. I'm going to get out a few people. And he did. He didn't just get at Ru. He got at Nas. He got at Ray and Ghost, you know, on the third verse when you know, he was mad at Smith and Wesson. Well, not Smith and Wesson. He was mad at OGC from Boot Camp because
they put him in the video.
Yeah, the guy with the Versace, the Coochie sweater, and threw him off the stage and all that. So he was including a lot of other people as well. But he warned me that he wanted to get at him and say what he had to say. He said, if you don't like it, he said, I'll pull it. And I was like, nah, yeah, just say what you got to say. Once I heard it, I froze for a second when he said, son, I'm surprised you run with them.
Can we see that?
So, you know what I'm saying? So
yes, no disrespect, your son, when Big says son, I'm surprised you run with them, he's speaking directly to
I
DJ
immediately
Premier.
said he's talking about, I like, you know, if you know the streets and you know how to understand lyrics, you know exactly what it was. Big had just had the car accident, so he was on a walker. And when he had to go to the vocal booth, we'd have to escort him and help him walk because he was really, really in bad shape. And he had to rhyme in a wheelchair because he couldn't stand up long because his hip was really hurting. So when he got to the booth, he said, you know, stop me if it offends you. And I was like, nah, it don't offend me because I understood if it bothered you that much with the record we did and we weren't ashamed to put that record out, say what you got to say. You know, it's on wax. No one got hurt. You know, and everything's everything. And then at the end of the day, we're all good. You know, Puff and us are cool. I see D-Rock and everybody. I support what they do, and they support what we do.
Amazing. It's a great story, though, man. It's a very great story. Setting it up, we're going to the trifecta now. Jay-Z. You guys did so much. You guys did Friend or Foe. Y'all did So Ghetto, 1,000,001. The Evils, Rhyme No More. What's your most memorable Jay-Z session, if you had to pick one?
Definitely the Reasonable Doubt time because during that time, he did a lot of it at, not the whole album, but he did a lot of it at D&D. He was having problems with the major labels because I remember Mary J. Blige came and did Can't Knock the Hustle. She did the hook, and Mary was already big, and they were looking at Jay-Z like, you're an independent small guy. You're not nobody. And I remember he was upset because Universal was like, Mary cannot be in no video, and we really want you to take it off the album. But they were able to, you know, finagle to keep it on there. But again, Jay wasn't big yet, so now he can get whoever he wants. But I mean, when you can get the president to come have dinner with you and you calling them, you know you're a big deal. But he at that time, it was hard to get major artists to mess with Jay because they looked at him, you're a little street rapper. You probably have one album in you and that's it. But he spoke to the streets, man. Like the Reasonable Doubt spoke to the streets. I had my time when I was, a little more rugged, and it spoke to me. It still speaks to me to this day because I understand that life. I watched him even put it together, and he knew how he wanted it mapped out. He told me what to scratch. He told me how the rhyme pattern is going to go and where he wants me to put everything. All the scratches came from him.
Wow, man. So and that's on The Evils, and you did Bring It On.
Bring It On and Friend or Foe.
Friend or Foe. Yeah. Amazing. Is it true? I once heard that, and this always comes. There's a lot of rumors out here like this.
Right.
I'm gonna do a whole album with PRhyme. You and Jay at once. It was at least an idea that you guys were going and do a whole thing
to do the Black album.
Okay.
Yeah, he brought it to my attention first. He said the only thing is, I don't want you to work with anybody for this little period of time so that we can just do it maybe like a good 2.5 weeks and then it's done and we put it out the Black album. And then he put it on hold and said, nah, scrap that. This is like weeks later, he's like, scrap it, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna do it later on in my career. And then he ended up doing the Dynasty album.
Dope thing about you, PRhyme, again, timeless is just a word that keeps coming back. I mean, when we talk about Nas, Jay, Big, I mean, we talking about GOATs, greatest of their generation, Guru, but you work with the new greats too. guy by the name of Kendrick Lamar. We haven't heard anything, but you had tweeted. I got receipts.
Yeah, but you know we call that clickbait. You know, shout to my manager Ian. You know, he was like, man, that's clickbait. That's what they do. You know, because they'll put
because what happened was
no, the guy that tweeted asked. He said, will there ever be a Kendrick Premier collabo? So I just responded, you know, just nonchalantly and just said, well, we worked on some things, you know, but it never got finished. Next thing you know, my manager's calling me up. Ian's like, yo, what did you do? And I'm like, what did I say? What? He said, look at this. You know, he stays on top of everything. And he sent me a snapshot of it. And it says, DJ Premier has Kendrick songs in the vault, and that was the headline. So that's gonna make you click on it. It made me click on it. Yeah. I'm like, shoot.
Like we do. Yeah.
I'm like, yo, hold on, what? You know, because and then it showed that actual tweet, but we never finished anything. I've been giving them beats for all 3 albums,
right?
And except for the Untitled, but we've been swapping beats together. You know, I knew him way back in his early days, and we've been mad cool and stuff. And he just will be like, yeah, it's not fitting my you know, direction of where I'm going. And it's like, all right, no problem. I don't get offended by that. So he has beats from me again from each album, but just not to the degree of where he said it's going to go on the album. So
and thank you for clarifying, because like we're here at Genius, like we really
sure it's going to happen one day.
Yeah, but you know, you get the excitement. I think we hear DJ Premier, one of the greatest of all time, Kendrick. In my opinion, I think a lot of people's opinion, King right now. It's exciting. As a hip hop fan, you're like, oh, what?
I'd love to do it. And again, one day, I'm sure it'll happen one day.
Amazing. Amazing. Letty, my friend Letty.
Yes.
We have another question from the community, right?
Yeah, this one's from Twitter, and we're going to go a bit out of hip hop for this, from Corbin Butler. He said if you could explain the process of working with D'Angelo, and this is Shirt Off D'Angelo. I think we have a clip of the track as well. We can run that.
Fuck the slides, want the pie, why is why, till we fry, watch us all, stand in line, most like some devil's pie.
Wow, I ain't gonna lie, that bring back memories. Belly soundtrack.
Yeah. Shout to my man Cannabis, that's the homie. That record, the Cannabis called me and said, I want to do a song called Niggonometry, which is on his album. You know, he did it. He said, I just want some mean bass line, just raw bass line. I said, meet me at the studio. We went to the lab, came to D&D. I did that beat. He said, yo, I don't think you're, you know, zoned into what I'm looking to do. And I was like, well, let's just shut the session down. So we shut the session down. And I said, we'll just relink some other time, you know. And I packed up, and right when I'm getting ready to leave the building, D'Angelo calls me, because we were label mates already.
Right. And you did the Lady remix.
Yeah, but we were label mates way back before his first album came out, so with Brown Sugar. So we were already cool, and we had mutual friends in Virginia and stuff like that. So we were already connected, but before I did any work. So, you know, having the phone number was no big deal. And when he called me and said, yo, man, what you doing? I said, I'm actually leaving a session. I did a joint with Cannabis, but it didn't work out. So he said, what are you doing with the beat? And I said, I'm just going to set it aside till the right thing happened. He said, yo, can I hear it? I was like, yeah. He said, I'm at Electric Lady. I said, all right, I'm a couple blocks away. I'm going to come over there. Played him that. He just starts, oh, my God, I'm going to kill this right now. Yo, come tomorrow. Come tomorrow. Let's mess around with it. I go there. Jay Dilla's there. You know, those I see some pictures that starting to circulate of me and Alchemist. I remember that's when Alchemist was a youngster, and you know, D'Angelo was always like, yo, I need some smoke. And Al's from California, and at that time it was about the Sticky Icky. He was in Cali. I said, Al, come with me. Al was like, yo, he don't like this. Bring him. It's me, Questlove, Jay Dilla, Al, and D'Angelo. And we all just hanging out, just getting lifted and just listening to the beat over and over. I'm playing around with scratches because D'Angelo started filming me. He filmed me for almost an hour of just me scratching. He said, just do anything. And I'm just playing around doing little scratch stuff with all his 12-inch singles and acapellas, and he's filming all the stuff. I got to ask him, where is that tape? Because it's some crazy footage with all of us hanging in there. And I remember he had, his trainer came in there because he was working out, you know, to get ready to. He said, "Man, I'm about to do a video where I'm gonna be butt naked." Yo,
He told us this at the session. He said, I'm gonna be buck naked, and he said, because he played us the song, and he said, I ain't got a title for it, so I'm gonna just call it Untitled. And he said, it's gonna do everything it's supposed to do, which it did. I mean, he dropped it. It blew up, and D was on his way, and that was a dope tour too, the Voodoo tour, and this is my second Grammy that I got. So
shout to that, yeah.
Shout to D'Angelo, man. That's my dude.
It's dope because though D'Angelo's related, the neo soul era starts to take form. It starts moving you out of hip hop, and we start seeing more of your versatility as a producer. And then a bunch of years after that, Christina Aguilera calls and is like, yo, PRhyme, I want some shit. Like, is that how it went?
Yeah, man. I gotta give it to her. Actually, her former husband, Jordan Bratman. I gotta give him a lot of credit because he played he was already a hip hop junkie, like he and his brother Josh. So they were already bumping Tribe, they were bumping Gangstar, they're bumping Naughty by Nature to Run DMC, you name it, Public Enemy. So he played her all the Group Home, Gangstar, and Jeru. And she was totally into it, She was like, and she liked all the the samples, the jazz samples, and she said, "I'm going to go back to basics, and bring that style to my album because I've never done that before." And that's really what she said, what she was raised on from being around her mother and all that stuff as a kid. So we clicked immediately. I remember when, this is really before social media got to the point where you could tweet and talk about stuff. And I just remember a lot of fans were like, man, I can't believe you're going to do this with her. Like, you're a hip hop, producer. You're about to, water down your what you do. And it's like, you haven't even heard it yet. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm gonna always still put my groove into it, no matter who I work with. And I work with them because I want to work with them. I mean, it's just that simple. If I don't want to work with you, it doesn't mean that everything's messed up. It may be messed up for you, but I work with who I want to work with for many different reasons. But one thing I will do is make sure the record is a good product before it comes out. I always make sure that I can leave the studio happy with it. If I'm not happy with it, it doesn't leave the lab ever. I have a lot of stuff that's never left the lab.
I've heard stories about you and being a perfectionist.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. That's why me and Dre click real well. I can actually call him and just have conversations about, yo, do you ever this and that, and he can be like, man, yeah, hell yeah, or hell yeah, like the Chronic Dre,
That's Dr. Dre. I want to know how your process of producing has evolved as we shifted. I mean, you come from the era of the SP 1200, the MPC 60, the HR 16, tapes and reels and DATs, and now the game is digital now. Has DJ Premier moved to digital, or what's your process like?
Yeah, I'm on a MPC Renaissance, which is software, but it's still the MPC buttons, the same screen, so I'm still in the same familiar world because it still looks like my old 60 where everything was analog and floppy disks and all that. And I still I have an NYG's album that's strictly floppy disk based, just to keep it just mono 16-bit, just really low, just gritty sound, just to keep that tradition because they're older. They come from the generation of where we come from. They were just longtime friends of mine, and I was like, yeah, let's put a project out. They're not rappers, but there is adult rap. I mean, we grow with the artists, so as we grow, we still. That's why I like what Jay did. We grow with him because he's from the landscape of how we lived New York and stuff, and how we lived life. So I like all the young artists that are out now. I check out everybody. I just don't do that style. If you might not see me driving around playing it,
right?
But I still keep up. I study. I'll even listen to Flex in an hour a day just to see what he's gonna play, just so I'm in tune. And then I have nieces and nephews that are just going into 20 and 21, and my youngest niece is 19, and she likes all that stuff. And I'm like, yo, what are you feeling right now? Oh, I like this, and I research it to make sure I'm up on the same page where they bug out because I'll be singing the song, I'll dab with them, I'll do all the dances they do, and they're just like, man, that's crazy that you know all this stuff when you're older. And it's like, yeah, but it's part of my culture, so I'm supposed to know it. You supposed to, I don't like when the artist says, I don't listen to nobody's stuff. It's like, yeah, you need to, because it's part of your culture. And like I said, I'm all the way into hip hop, so I'm not gonna turn my back on that stuff. I just don't want to make that style.
Right.
I'm gonna stick to what I do.
Give it up. And we're gonna support you all the way through. Talk about, something you did really interesting on the PRhyme album, and I know you're working on PRhyme too. Sampling records has always been a staple, man, of hip hop, and you're one of the masters of it. But when you did PRhyme, you guys worked with Adrian Younge and did something just a little different where you sample original recordings. Talk about the change and how that's beneficial.
I fought to not do that because, I like to be known for, where the hell did he get that sample? Where did he get that loop? What record is that? That's always been my way, just having these you can't find it type samples. And then every now and then I'll take one that but I'll just flip it to, it's a Premier style. But for the most part, I like just being known for, I found this sample. I used to have people be like, yo, man, this got some hot shit on it. I know you could hook it up. It's like, nah, because now you going to claim that you gave me that, and then when it becomes a banger, you're going to be like, yeah, I gave him that record. I want to be known for, I found the record, I found the sample, I chopped it up, I produced it. That's the selfish part of me. So with Adrian, it was just like, damn, man, I don't want to just take one person's music and make an album with it, because it's going to have sonically a similar sound throughout the whole album, and that's just something I don't do. And then, Royce just kept saying, look at it this way, look at it this way. With my manager, Ian, oh, yeah, you could do it. You could kill it, you could kill it. And I was like, all right, let me mess around with a couple, send them to Royce. Plus, Royce had just become sober, and I've known him through his whole alcoholic years, so I know that Royce. Being sober, sometimes you don't know if you can still have it because you don't have the liquor and everything to fuel you into wilding out and spazzing out on that mic. He hadn't rapped in almost 2 years. He had just put the mic down. So I sent him the song PRhyme, and I was in L.A. About to fly back to New York the next day, and we had hung out with Joaquin Phoenix, the actor. And actually Joaquin knows his hip hop, like he knows it, and he's like, yo, man, how did you do All Right Chill with all the phone messages and this, he was going into the album cuts, not the singles. Now fast forward, we're leaving the next day to go back to New York, and I'm with my manager and my tour manager, and Joaquin hits me up and goes, I'm literally about to go to bed. I packed my bags, everything. About to go to bed, I get a text. Joaquin goes, yo, Puffy's throwing an ill party right now, and we over here. Get over here. We'll get you in. I'm like, yeah, I'm coming. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you already know. Puff's throwing a party. It's on. We went there. They had somebody waiting for us. We got in. It was packed. But right before I walked out the door to go there, Royce texts me and says, check your email. I just wrote my first rap. And I'm like, I'll check it later. I'll check. I'm going home tomorrow. I'll listen to it tomorrow. But then I was like, you know what? Let me see if he still got it. And then I'll go. I download it. Drum roll. Boom, 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 boom. Gather round. Witness the memoirs of 5'9" being read. And I'm like, he hadn't even started rapping yet. And I'm like, he's back, he's good. And I just sat there and listened to it. I called him. I said, you're back, brother. Let's do the album. After I told him I liked it, he said, hey, instead of us putting out this project as DJ Premier and Royce the 5'9", how would you feel if we were a new group and call it PRhyme, but don't spell it PRIME? Spell it P for Premier, R for Royce, and that's capital, and then HYME is for rhyming, because I'm rhyming on the album, but it embodies all of us together with the music and the rapping. I said, I'm cool with that, and that's why we said, okay, now we're PRhyme.
It's a phenomenal album. I think Royce is rapping better than ever. I actually think Royce
always a problem.
Is crazy. We have another community question from Letty.
Smash Breezy says, how do you pick the right vocal samples for a song's hook?
It depends on either, if you don't have a title for the song and you're still writing just the lyrics, when I start recording you, I'm listening intently to what you're saying, you know, because Guru, as I said, got me into that. He said, always listen to what cats say in their lyrics. And you know, there's been times people have asked me, like, what did Guru mean when he said this and this? And I don't want to have to go, well, you got to ask him. I want to be able to explain it. So same thing when I hear them spitting their verse. If I hear something that catches me, I'm like, ooh, there's so-and-so said this in a scratch. That goes with what he's talking about or what he said in the line. And I can really remember. DJ's Static, I'm sure you can back me up on this one too. I mean, we can remember a lot of records that got rhymes in it, man, because we have a battle mentality. So, you know, anything that's about breaking you down, destroying you, or I could pick you apart, or just anything with just a battle type of mentality, we kind of gonna go, oh, so-and-so said that, and then we'll test it out, and then I test it. If it doesn't fit, then I do a thing called force fit. Well, I'll force it to go because it might have drums in it, and it might not be clashing right. If it really, really is bothering me, I pull it and just look for something else close to what that line is. But I really do hear something that might go with it based on what you rap about.
I'm gonna go off script for a second. You said you know everything that Guru was talking about.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Lemonade is a popular drink, and it still is. Did he just always drink lemonade?
Nah, I remember Greg Nice.
I gotta know. I want to
remember
know.
when we did that record. Greg,
shout out to Dub C. He was at that session because he was in New York, and Don Barron from the Masters of Ceremony was there. When he did Lemonade was a popular drink, and it still is, he was just freestyling. That whole rhyme was freestyle. He didn't write anything. And right. Guru always writes everything. So that one was just a freestyle. That's why it went so different places. And I remember Greg Nice was like, man, is that Lemonade? And he said, you think that's gonna work? And we was like, hey man, let it do what it do. And now I mean, Jay-Z even brought it back, you know, with the All the Way Up remix. I mean, I remember I texted Jay like, yo, good looking on that. He said his text was, I can never forget. He said, and this is for the culture. And I was like, wow, you know, so. You know.
Oh yeah, give it up for that. While we talking about sampling, man, you are a protector. You're a knight. You're a guardian of the culture that we talk about, and I know you get very serious. You talked about protecting and wanting to dig and find your samples and ownership of that. And there's a funny clip of you defending that. Can we hear that?
What's the deal with you break record cats is putting out all the original records that we sample from and snitching by putting us on the back of it saying that we use stuff? You know how that go. Stop doing that. Y'all are violating straight up and down. Word up, man. I'm sick of this shit. Y'all motherfuckers really don't know what this hip-hop's all about. So while y'all keep on faking the funk, we're gonna keep on walking through the darkness carrying our torches. Underground will live forever, baby. We just like roaches, never dying, always living.
Yeah. Well, where the roach is at, man? I'm a roach today.
Yeah, I'm still a roach.
Yeah. I mean, you know, that was almost 20 years ago that you recorded that. I remember first hearing it. It was like, damn, who pissed Primo off?
Yeah, I have a different attitude about it now. I mean, because, you know, we got to respect the fact that these people created and put their blood, sweat, and tears into this music that we're taking and creating our own version and converting it into a hip-hop type of record. And, you know, we didn't understand the laws and all that back then, and we weren't getting sued. You know, then I started getting lawsuits. A lot of us, because, again, we didn't really look at it in the vein of the respect that these artists deserve that we sample from. Now I clear samples and stuff, even still to this day, even though it's a different era and we're independent now and stuff like that. But if it's on a level, if it's something that's chopped, like super diced up, I still just chop it. But if it's something that's either looped where I know, man, they're gonna know that, I'm gonna go ahead and get it clear. What it was at that time in '98, that was when all those sample records were coming out with the original sample. Strictly Breaks, Dusty Fingers, and they were putting used by gang. You know, like if you put the Ultimate Breaks and Beats, just had the song and that's it. But now they're putting used by Notorious B.I.G, Gang Starr, Showbiz and AG, whoever, and we were just like, don't put us on there because we didn't clear it. Right. And all of a sudden, my attorney's calling me saying I got another one, and I'm forking over money. So it was to the point where it's like, let me scream at them. I mean, it's a fine line from that era before it was respected by everybody. Just like when James Brown was mad that Eric B and Rakim used I Know You Got Soul, and he was dissing rap, and then then Stetson Sonic did Talking All That Jazz, and they said, tell the truth, James Brown was old until Eric and Rock came out with I Got Soul. He said rap brings back old R&B, and if we did not, people might have forgot. That's true. So
that's a fat word.
We just now have the respect of clearing it based off of they gave us those sounds, and the newer artists don't really make those sounds anymore, that dirty, raw 70s soul, and that's what we were driven by, because that was our young music when I was a little youth, you know what I'm saying?
Little youth.
A little youth.
Little youth. We look back a lot, man, and I want to honor your legacy. I want to uphold your legacy. I want to talk a little about the future as well, because this is not the end. I don't want this to be like a career retrospect. And
no.
This is your
life.
Got
a lot more to do.
You got the new label, To the Top, TTT.
Yeah, TTT.
You're scoring season 2 of The Breaks.
Yep.
You just dropped Which Way Is West with MCA.
MCA, shout out to the MCA. Yeah. You
just produced the record for Miguel.
Yep.
To Loving You, and you got your artist Tory Wolf. And PRhyme 2 is coming. Like, I'm surprised you here now. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, I was trying to get you here, and Ian was like, "Look, man, he's very busy." It's like, yo, we just need a couple hours. Yeah. Like, so first of all, for you to all this stuff that you're doing, I understand why.
Yeah, I'm on deadline because we want to get all the stuff out this year, and the pressure's always on. But I'm very good under pressure. Like, I'm very last minute. It's not. I don't recommend you to be last minute because business moves very fast. The world spins very fast. You got to get things done on a timely manner. But being I have the experience and know-how of how to do what I do, the pressure makes me just bang them out. Boom, boom, boom. It's almost like a person that plays chess with the clock, and then you have a person that without the clock. They could play and probably beat you, but if you put that clock on where it's like 3 seconds, I'm beating you every time. My manager is on time for everything, and he's got me into the mind state of understanding. Like they say, if you're 15 minutes early, you're on time. If you get there on time, you're late. If you're late, don't even show up. Don't even go into the meeting. It's over. And I've been to meetings, like I've seen Russell Simmons and Jay-Z. Jay-Z's the same way. Yo, you're late. Nah, see you tomorrow. Russell, hey, you're late. See you tomorrow. But nah, see you tomorrow, or not at all. And you got to respect that because they value time, and you're using their time, and you got to respect it. The thing that helped me get past that is because of I give them the quality on the level of what they expect, because they're all about expertise and high level quality. So that is the thing that saved me, but that doesn't mean it's going to save you if you're late, especially with opportunity. Opportunity is not always there, and when it comes, you got to take it and make sure you don't fuck it up.
Word up, man. So be on time.
Yes.
Be early. Be on time. You're late.
I was 5 minutes late to here, though.
Nah, you was good. We told you to come 3 hours early.
yeah, exactly.
PRhyme 2, how close are we? Where you guys at with PRhyme 2?
We're in the mixing stages right now. When we did the first album, I didn't know he was gonna have all these features on there. Royce was like, "Yo, I'm gonna surprise you." And I'm like, what if I don't like the artist, And he's like, "Well, I'm gearing it towards what I need as an MC." I was like, all right, so I didn't know Absol, Killer Mike, Mac Miller, and Schoolboy Q, Slaughterhouse. Slaughterhouse was like, okay, well that's family. But everybody else, he would just send them. Jay Electronica just sent a verse, and it was just boom, 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 and I was like, wow, and everybody got busy. It was only supposed to be an EP of 5 songs. It ended up being 9. So, and that's crazy, right? 5, 9, Royce 5, 9, and but the new one has we have 14 songs, actually 15. So we got a lot of features that you definitely from the dope underground artists and dope very known artists. So it's a dope. This one we're using Ant-Man Wonder's catalog,
right?
And that's what it is. If PRhyme is the only project where I just take one person's catalog and convert their music into a premier style. So I don't want to do it with other stuff, but just with PRhyme. So next time it might just be, you know, David Axelrod. Next time it might be Kool and the Gang. You know, just whatever. It'll only be their music, and I think that's what makes it unique too. So, but this one's a good one. We got some crazy stuff.
Okay. Before we go, man, we got one more community question. I want to go to Letty.
She's back.
Yeah, Primo, and we know all the hits and classics that you do have out. And shout out to Skills, who said, "What's your favorite record that you've worked on that hasn't seen the light of day?"
Stuff that hasn't seen the light of day. Shoot, I don't really have a lot because I don't, you know, I just don't really shelf a lot of stuff. But I just did a joint with A AP Ferg. It's dope. It's straight raw New York. It's preem Ferg. It's not the style of what you know. It's not New Level. I love New Level and all that stuff, but it's a primo Ferg joint, and he went in.
Ferg remind me, as much as Ferg is new and has his own style. Like I get like ODB vibes a little, just because he's so wild on the track.
Right.
So when you say Premier and Ferg, like I could kind of imagine
it's
it
more
already.
some just, you know, head nod. Okay. You know, I call them turntable records. Records like Nas is like, I call it a turntable record.
We just call them classics, but
you know, Shook Ones is a turntable record. Now, you know, I didn't produce Shook Ones. MOP Annie Up is a turntable record. I don't know why I call it that, but that's what there's certain records I do. The Ferg joint is some head nod. Like I said, it sounds like we connected like this, not Ferg and Premier over here. It's merged together, but it's real simple, but dope scratches, and you know, it's just real simple. We just went in. We just went in to see if we could even vibe, and we clicked right away. Did it in a day, and we're like, let's just throw it out right now, just to get the streets warm, to show that you do styles like this as well, because you know a lot of his stuff has more of the sound that's popular with the younger generation now, and he even said, I want to do the way you did it, 90s style. So he came to the table.
That's dope, man. Shout out to A AP Ferg. And shout out to DJ Premier. I want to thank you, man, for doing this, man. This is legendary. I think we're never going to forget this night. But please give up to DJ Premier. Give it up to the audience, man. Thank y'all, man. Thank yourselves. And certainly our sponsors, Ciroc and Breather, man. This has been genius level, man. DJ Premier, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob.